glad you're here. It's nice to see you all. I'm going to adjust this just a tiny bit. There we go. So I've had these tickets for a long time, maybe years, I think several years. And I bought them with the intention to use them in my junk journals, but they just kind of sat there, and I have a whole roll of them like this. And they sat there and they sat there because they're so yellow. Every time I would look at them, I would be uninspired. I would not know what to do with them. And I finally decided that I was going to try to alter the color of them. And this is what I came up with. So these are what I made. And they're all bee themed because I am currently working on a bee journal. But you can do any theme that you want to do. So that's what we are going to make today, if you stick around. First, I'm going to set those to the side, and I'm going to get a pair of latex gloves. You're not required to have gloves, but I'm going to be using these two distress sprays. This is Uncharted Mariner, and this one is Vintage Photo from Tim Holtz. Ranger. Anyways, that spray will get all over your fingers and in your fingernails. Matter of fact, I'm still trying to get some of it out of my fingernails from doing it without gloves on. So I decided this time I'm going to put some gloves on. Just to avoid the mess on my hands. And like I said, you don't have to have gloves. But if you want to avoid a really messy situation, then I suggest putting on some cheap, latex-free, disposable gloves. They don't have to be latex-free unless you're allergic to latex. Anyways. And I got these at, I think, Walmart a long time ago. You can get them in the cleaning section, or you can get some on Amazon, wherever you decide to get your gloves. Then you're going to need or want a splash box. This box I purchased from Tim Holtz also. It's designed to have the sides and then make it easy so that you don't get splashes everywhere. You can just use it on your desk, or you can make your own splash box. Just take a cardboard box, cut it up, and use it. So first of all, I'm just going to lay at least 3 of these down. And I'm going to get some Vintage Photo, and I'm going to spray them. And I'm going to spray them a good amount of spray on them. And then I'm using this Uncharted Mariner also in those places I don't want any of this yellow showing. If you like yellow showing, then you can leave a little bit of yellow, but I want to cover that yellow up completely. So I did that side. I'm not going to let it dry right now. I'm just going to turn it over, and I'm going to continue to do my spraying because the spray does not go through to the other side on these tickets. I think I bought these tickets a long time ago, like at, oh my goodness, did I use all my distress spray? Come on, really? Let's see what's going on. No, there's still some in there. It just got a little clogged or something. That's not good. Let's try again. This is why you need extra spray bottles or nozzles. I will be right back. Alright, so I couldn't find another nozzle, but I did find some other types of sprays. I've got Distress Spray Stain, Scorched Timber. I have Scorched Timber Oxide. And I've also got Delusions Ink Spray, Ground Coffee. And I have Melted Chocolate Delusions Ink Spray. So we are going to make this work one way or another. So just use whatever you have. If you have other colors on hand, go ahead and use those colors. I'm going to try this one first, the Ground Coffee. Because I think it's closest to what the look. Ooh, this is a lot darker. Lot darker. One thing about Delusion sprays is I don't know that you'll get the same effect, like water effect on them, that you will with the oxides. So take that off. All right. The way you find out how things work is you use them. And you see how they work. All right, so first I'm going to just set these 3 aside to dry while we do 3 more. And you don't have to worry about mopping anything up right now because you're just going to put 3 more down. 1, 2, gotta get some more. And 3. It's like to be bendy from being on the roll. And then I'm going to go ahead and maybe I will try some Scorched Timber Oxide and give that a good shake because that stuff has settled to the bottom. First I'm going to do this. One thing I learned by watching lots of videos of other people's, I think Tim Holtz might have been the one that told me about this one though. You have that stuff, so you need to give it a little wiggle or use one of those mixing, vibrating things. But do not go like this real hard because that is a good way to help clog your ink up. You can see that it's starting to mix. There's a ball in there. You can hear it going around. Scorched Timber is not one I think of using very often, so it'll be fun to use it this time and see what we get from it. I'm glad also that I'm doing something with my inks because I've been having this desire or urgency feeling that I need to use my supplies. All of them, especially ones like inks and oxides and things that can dry out and become no good eventually. I'm like, I need to use them before none of them are any good anymore. Okay. Ooh. That's a really dark brown, but I like it. So there's that. And then going back to the blue. Uncharted Mariner, Oxide. And I might put a little bit more Scorched Timber on those yellow spots that I can still see. Like that. And once that's done, I'm going to turn them all around. And I'm going to do the other side. So pretty simple process. I think I'll speed up the video from here so you guys can see what I'm doing, but you don't have to be in slow motion the whole time. Okay, now these are not dry yet, but I've got them all sprayed with their first coat. Well, with their coat, because I'm not doing another coat. But I do want to add a little Distress Sprayer water with the just some water sprinkles, just to activate that, just that oxide a little bit. I like kind of what that's doing there. Give it a little bit of, so it can kind of activate it and make some fun marks on there. And then just set those aside and get 3 more. I kind of like what this stuff is doing. It's almost looking like chocolate on there. I don't know if that's the Scorched Timber or from the Delusions ink spray, like the combination. I should have, you know what, we're going to do one with just those two so we can see what it does and see where we're getting that reaction from, because I'm not even sure. So we'll do 3 more just to find out. Because I'm very curious now. I have a feeling it's the Scorched Timber that's making that look on there, but I could be wrong. Okay. We got those. And again, it's not required that you put water on it. I'm just doing it to get some other effects with the oxide, because that's part of the fun of oxide, is it's water reactive and you can get a lot of different effects with water that you wouldn't have unless you used water. So this is just a negative of a bumblebee cutout that I did. So I'm going to use it to craft something. And I thought, why not dip it in the leftover oxide to give it some color and interest and grunginess. So that's why I'm doing this. Okay, so I'm going to do 3 more because I want to know I'm going to do 3 more with just the Delusion spray and the Uncharted Mariner together. And then I'll do 3 with just the Scorched Timber and the Uncharted Mariner, and see what effects we're getting with the different ones. Just for fun, just for, you know, to see what's going on here. So this is the Delusion Ground Coffee spray, and then we've got the Uncharted Mariner. Okay. Maybe do a little bit more of a spray there. And I'm going to turn it over, do the same thing. Delusions. It's kind of splatty. And then Uncharted Mariner together. Alright, I'm going to have to get another paper that I can use as a drawing mat. Let me find one real quick. I have some of this, so it's Braille, and it's just Braille paper. I found it at a thrift store a long time ago, so I won't mind getting color all over this for grunging it up later. Just grunge it up now. I'm going to set that over here, and I'm going to take these to dry on top of that. So we know that these ones are the ones with Delusion spray, and then these ones are going to be the ones with only Distress spray. The next three. And I think I can already tell which one is making the effect I was wondering about. I'm pretty sure it's the Scorched Timber. Okay. And then I'm going to turn it over and do it again. And yes, I am using quite a bit of spray because, like I said, I want to use my products and not let them go bad. So why not? Just use them up. Use them up before it's too late. And have fun with them. Okay. All right. So now, I think I'm going to take these gloves off because I did the messiest part already. Set this aside for now. And maybe wipe a little bit of this up. Need some water. Need a little water on there. Probably use that. But I'm not going to right now. Okay. All right. So now, here is what's happening with these, just so you can see. These ones are the ones that I used the Delusion spray on. These three right here. And then these three right here are the ones with only Scorched Timber and Uncharted Mariner Distress spray. So it is definitely the Scorched Timber that's making that kind of melted chocolate look. You know how, like, if you leave a melted candy bar in this, or you leave a candy bar in the sun or something, you come back later and it's been melted and it has like a lighter color to it. That's what that reminds me of. For whatever reason. I like this look too, though. I like the darker. I like them both. So that's what we have here. And again, you can use any colors you have, any colors you want to use. You don't have to limit yourself to these colors. But this is what I've chose to use. And now I'm going to wash all of my nozzles off. Alright, so I'm going to take, well, first I'm going to spray a little bit of water on these just to get that reaction going. Let's see what we can get going. Like so. I'm going to set these ones over here to dry longer. Then I'm going to take these ones, and because I'm impatient, I'm going to go ahead and dry them with my Recollections heat dryer. Again, you can get this on scrapbook.com, I believe, too, or Amazon. Amazon has almost anything you're looking for. You can't find it somewhere else. So this gets pretty hot. I'm gonna hold these up and just turn this on. Give them a little bit of a dry. These are very lightweight, so that's why I'm holding it up, because see, it flies away if I try to just blow on it. Show you the results of these so far. Got this one. Got some cool stuff going on the back side. Then we have this one. And this one. This one. I like this one a lot. See, everything happens for a reason. The reason for this was so that we could experiment with other colors. Alright, I'm going to dry these two. I think I'm going to put just a tiny bit of spray, or you know, I'll use my ink this way, maybe. Just on that yellow part there. Just because I don't like that. That's why we started this whole thing to begin with, right? I do need some more of this one, because this one's, even if the sprayer was working, it's very low. Alright, so here's the moment of truth. Results. This one is with the Distress Oxides only. So we have Uncharted Mariner and Scorched Timber. That looks really cool. And then this one is with the Delusions, what's it called again? Coffee, ground coffee, and the Uncharted Mariner. And then I was noticing as I was drying these, the water stain look is very exaggerated on these. And I like that because it makes it look kind of grungy and old, but especially on the back side. And then we got all those little cells. So I do like the the result, and we still got some of that oxide from the Uncharted Mariner look too. So I do like the results. I like the results of both. I don't want to say one's better than the other. I guess it's just what you prefer. But I really love this. That's so cool. It makes me want to do some paper or some tags or something in these. Same colors. Okay, so that's what we have as our base for tickets right now. And I will be back in a few minutes. Okay, I am back. I was just gathering a few supplies. I'm going to stick with my bee theme, but I used the smallest things that I could find as ephemera, and then some papers that I can rip up or whatever I can do with them, because I'm going to put, as you can see, I kind of treated it like 3 pieces of something and then a centerpiece. So there's 1, 2, 3 and a centerpiece on most of them. Kind of treated it like a snippet or a cluster type of thing. The same rules for decorating those types of things. But I used all my small elements. And I also used some of these, which I will grab the ones that I was using before. These are just edges of papers from a binding book that I took out because they had cute images on them. And these are the edges that I cut off of them that I thought would be good to use in things like snippet rolls and stuff like that. And they have come in handy with these. They give extra interest to whatever it is you're working on. And then I'm going to put these sprays over here for now, out of my way. I also am going to be using some Distress Oxide. I think I'm just going to stick with Vintage Photo for this project. And mainly for edging. So I'm not going to think about it too much. I'm just going to start ripping this and getting some cute little pieces that I can put on the background, like so. I'm trying not to overthink, because then you're going to be here forever and you're going to feel like you didn't get much done and so on. So sometimes it's better not to overthink, and I am definitely an overthinker when it comes to crafting. So I'm very guilty of it. That's why I'm trying not to do it. This is just a piece of ephemera that I had, that I'm, instead of using it as a whole piece, I'm just ripping it up and using it for its background. And then I have this little scrap piece, so I'm going to rip this up because I like the stuff on it. So I'm going to go ahead and use that as part of my background. Scraps. And maybe I'll use this. This is from an old encyclopedia book, and I took out the images of some bees a long time ago. Well, the whole book was falling apart, so my sister gave them to me to use in my junk journaling. Her and her husband said, "Hey, do you want these for your junk journaling?" And I said, "Sure." Because it has a lot of interesting things that I thought, oh, I can use that, and book pages and different stuff. So anyways, okay, so we got that. Now, I can use, I've got these little things that I cut out a long time ago from this. So these are the positives and this is the negative of the same die. I believe it's a Tim Holtz die. I don't know where it is right now. I've just had these from when I started the journal, which was a long time ago. And I really like incorporating these into it because, you know, they look like a beehive, kind of, or the cells of a beehive. So I'm going to go ahead and put that down. Maybe some of this. And some of this. And this is where you might want to be a little more creative and use different types of elements just so you have a little bit different look on each ticket strand. Like so. And then maybe I'll use this color of one too. I have a lot of this one, so might as well use it. That's my theme this year. Use your supplies. Use what you've got. Try. I mean, it doesn't mean you can never buy any new supplies because that's just unrealistic to me. But it does mean before you go buy new supplies, take a look at what you have and make sure that you don't have something already that is just as good, if not better, that you can use. That's part of the point. One of the major points of junk journaling is using what you have so that you don't throw it away. So we don't want to overbuy supplies and then throw things away. You know, that's kind of counterintuitive. Anyways, all right, so I've got the 2 layers so far, and then I have my little centerpieces or main theme. I like these little circles. These are little elements from my kit that I have online. I'll put the links downstairs, down in the comment area or the description area. But you can just put these on like this. I used my round puncher to cut these out and make them round like this, rather than trying to fussy cut every little thing on these little tiny ones. So just an idea of what you can do. You can do that with anything you have. So I'll put those 3 down. And then maybe some hearts on this one. And I'm not being real precise right this moment because I'm just getting stuff down. This one's cute too. Blessed, chosen, and loved. So I might do this. Oh, that's too big though. A little too big for these tickets. So do another flower. And then I'm going to try to use this bee. And then maybe another flower here, and a flower here, and a flower here. Okay, I'm trying to use up my small elements. And then have these ones. I'm not going to use a butterfly because it's a bee theme. These hearts I've decided are a little too big for what I want to do. But these ones are about the right size, I think. Well, no, those are a little too big also. These might all be too big. Yeah, I don't like that. They're too big. So these are too big. I'm going to have to go smaller. What else do I have in here? I do have some smaller ones here. This needs to go in here. All right, here's some hearts. Honeycomb heart, we'll do there. And then I didn't put anything here, so maybe another flower, but just a little flower. And then maybe another heart here. And I don't know, these are a little bit too small, some of them. And then we have these ones, these little elements. Oh, these I don't think I'm going to use, but I can probably maybe use the flowers. No. Nope, nope, nope. So guys, I'm running out of little elements. Let me see what else I have. I'm trying to think. Maybe I will use a butterfly just since I'm running low. Put it on this one. Maybe we'll use a bow. My goodness. I could go print more stuff, but for the sake of the video, I'm not going to right now because it would take too much time. And trying not to take a lot of time or too much time. So how about this bow and maybe this bow and that bow and that bow. Those bows are kind of cute. I like the bows. All right, so we got that. Then I'm going to probably put a word with each one of them. Some kind of word. Let me see what kind of words I have here. I have inspire. So we can do inspire. And let me see. What else? What else? What else? Memories. Beautiful. Believe. Let's see, believe on that one. And be wild. Let's see. Maybe we'll do that one on the bee. Treasured. Faith. Joy. Grateful. Hope. Let's try hope. And you don't have to put a word on yours. I just like to put words on them because it makes it more, I don't know, interesting, more personable. Memories. Let's see, what else? What else do we got here? Got another memories. Can do more than one memory. Just use what you got. Use it, use it, use it. Grateful. Where's the little ones? I need my little ones. We almost have enough here. Okay, so I also have, let's see, I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I also have these. I like, let's see, what do we have here? Journey. Journey is a good one. So we'll get Journey out. And then Bloom. Bloom's a good one for this theme especially. It doesn't want to come off. Ah! Okay. Nourish. Nourish would be a good one to get. Because bees are very nourishing. They give you honey, which nourishes your body. So we'll get Nourish. How about Grace too, just for fun? And maybe Harmony. Harmony. Okay, so with these, I am going to cut them smaller than they originally were for the sake of my project. And remember, you can do this with any scenes you have. You can, another way to get words, if you don't have any printables, you don't have any money, you can't buy a printable, you can't go to the store and get some more craft supplies, get a magazine out and look up different words and cut them out of the magazine and use them. How many of us have magazines that are just sitting around? We never look at them, never touch them, never do anything with them. Might as well cut them up and use them. Okay. Journey. Where's the Journey? Let's see. Where should we put Journey? Maybe there. Kind of wanted to be there, I think. But no, I think I'm going to put it here because on this one I'm going to use Bloom, which is right here. We're going to do Bloom. Bloom. Let's see. Grace. And what's this one? Nourish. Nourish. Let's see, maybe here. Nourish. Do we have any that doesn't have one? I think we've got all of them. Okay, that's it. So now once we have a little bit of a structure down, and I have to push all this stuff out of my way, I will clean it up later. I'm a messy crafter. Some people are really good about cleaning up as they go. I'm not one of them. Okay, so got that down, and now we are going to use some Distress Oxide Vintage Photo, and I'm going to go ahead and just edge everything like so, because I don't want it to look too bright and cherry on my grungy tickets. It can be a little bright, but just, I want it to blend a little bit, match the scene. And I'm going to do this one at a time, just for the sake of keeping things from getting mixed up. And after I do that, I'm going to glue it down. Some people like to use the mini staplers and staple everything down. I'm more of a gluer. I do have some of the mini staples, but I haven't used them much yet. I need to start using them. Okay. And as you noticed, probably, I'm not being real precise. I'm just putting things down. Because again, when I overthink, I mean, if I think about it too much, I will overthink it, and it will take me forever to do this. When it shouldn't take forever, it should just be fun, relaxing, a nice time. Okay, so there's our first one, complete. And we are going to continue to do all of them like so. So I will probably just speed this up. Alright, you guys. I am done with all of these, and this is what I came up with. Whoops. My hands got dirty even though I had those gloves on for a while. So here they are. I'm sure you guys can see them pretty good. And I'll just hold them one up at a time so you can see them a little bit closer. Hopefully it's not blurry. There's this one, and this one, this one, and this one. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed this little craft along tutorial, and I hope you will visit me again sometime. Comment below on what you liked about this, what you may have learned. I am going to have a link to my Facebook community. If you want to join that, I do freebies sometimes, and you'll find them on there, and also just put out some challenges once in a while, and you know, just share what's going on. Anyways, I'm so glad you guys were here, and I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I will talk to you later. Bye.